Family Church, the 14th of January, day 14 of our 21-day fast. 2/3 of the way through, we've got 1/3 left to go, another 7 days, and we're on day 21. With that in mind, I just want to encourage you from Galatians 6 verse 9 that says, don't grow weary in doing good, for in due season you will reap if you faint not. Don't grow weary in doing good. With this in mind, I was just thinking about a guy in the New Testament who was fasting and praying. His name was Cornelius, and you can read about him in Acts chapter 10. Cornelius was a Roman centurion living in Caesarea amongst the Jewish people, but he was a Roman soldier. But the Bible says that although he wasn't a Jew, but he was a God-fearing man, and him and his household were devoted to God. They would spend time praying to God. He was a generous man. He was known for his generosity. He would frequently give alms to the poor. And what happened one day, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the Bible says that he was fasting and praying when he had an angelic visitation from God. And God said to him, send to Joppa for Simon Peter. And he gives him the address, tells him this is where he lives. Go and send for him, get him to come back to your house. And immediately the following day he responded, and he sent 3 of his servants off to Joppa to go and fetch Simon Peter to come back to his house. I love the way God prepares people in advance, because while those 3 servants were on their way to Joppa to go and fetch Simon Peter, God was already preparing Peter's heart, and he was actually up on the roof of his house praying at the same time. And God spoke to him as well and prepared him for what was coming. And that's what happens sometimes during our seasons of fasting, is that it seems like maybe God's not doing anything, but actually sometimes he has to work in someone else's life in order for you to get your breakthrough. And this is what happened here with Simon Peter. So the 3 men from Cornelius's house arrived, and he traveled back to Caesarea. So 4 days had passed from the time that Cornelius had been fasting and praying. And in the meantime, he had invited his friends and neighbors over with such faith. Come on over. Simon Peter's coming to my house. I've no idea what he's going to say, but come on over. And the house was brimming with people. When Peter arrived at Cornelius's house, and he preached the gospel. And Cornelius, his household, his friends, his neighbors, everybody in that room got saved. It was like a mini revival in Caesarea, in this house of this Roman centurion. But what I want to actually pull out of this account is that I don't believe that the centurion was just a flash in the pan, that there was just one day that he prayed. No, because the Bible says that his prayer and his alms came up as a memorial before God. This was a lifestyle to him. There was longevity in the centurion, and he'd been sowing to the Spirit. He'd been sowing to the Spirit, and he reaped a massive harvest that day. He got salvation. He was saved that day, him and his household. So don't grow weary in doing good. You know what, maybe during this fast you felt, this isn't for me, I'm going to stop. It's just not for me, or whatever the reason. Let me say to you, religion will say to you, you failed, that's it. You failed the test, big time, no chance. That's religion. Grace and truth says, you might have stumbled, you might have fallen, but you know what, it doesn't matter. Just start where you're at, dust yourself off and move forward. Sow to the Spirit. Sow to the Spirit. Don't grow weary in doing good. Just start where you're at. You don't have to go back to square one. It's not a game of snakes and ladders. We're sowing to the Spirit. We will reap if we faint not. I tell you what, maybe there's somebody else at the other end of your victory, of your breakthrough, but whatever it is, even though you don't see God working, He is working. Don't grow weary in doing good. You will reap a harvest. Enjoy the rest of this fast. God bless you. See you soon.